To a traditional believer right now, society feels like it's spinning out of control. You go to a school board meeting and your parental rights are questioned. You clock in at work and face mandatory ideological training. You step into the public square and find your convictions outlawed. It feels like a sudden, chaotic hostility coming from every direction at once. A methodical, 50-year campaign of institutional capture has produced this specific environment. Society operates across 7 spheres of influence: religion, family, education, government, media, arts, and business. But for decades, the church made a strategic error. Believers retreated into a spiritual bunker, defending only religion, leaving the other 6 spheres entirely unguarded. Surrendering the classroom, the newsroom, and the boardroom causes a ripple effect back to the sanctuary. When an opposition controls the media narrative and school curriculum, they ensure the next generation views traditional values as entirely alien, eventually breaching the walls of the church itself. The adversaries of the Christian worldview didn't achieve this by accident. They executed a specific operating manual, Saul Alinsky's 1971 book, Rules for Radicals. Alinsky's methodology is intentionally amoral. It treats the established order as the enemy, operating on a single premise: the acquisition of power justifies any method. It teaches activists exactly how to separate means from ends and how to weaponize an institution's own rules against its leadership. Take Alinsky's first rule, perception management. Activists exaggerate their numbers and conceal weaknesses. By using social media and institutional pressure, they create a phantom army. They make a fringe ideological position look like an overwhelming majority consensus. Or consider Rule 12. Personalize and polarize. Institutions are abstract and hard to hate, so the playbook instructs activists to target a specific individual, a pastor, a CEO, or a dissenting parent. They isolate that person, forcing the rest of the community to either distance themselves or risk becoming targets too. The church focused its defense on the pulpit, leaving the institution without a tactical doctrine to identify and counter specific infiltration methods in the boardroom or the classroom. Defeating a highly coordinated tactical playbook requires a superior, unified operational doctrine. That doctrine is outlined in Rules for Radical Christians. It takes biblical wisdom and translates it into an actionable framework for institutional defense. The core concept here is strategic inversion. Alinsky's tactics rely entirely on exploiting institutional weaknesses, things like fear, hypocrisy, and isolation. If you eliminate the weakness, the tactic fails. This approach strictly forbids mirroring the enemy's amoral deception. We do not fight lies with better lies. Instead, we use objective biblical truth as an active structural shield. Disciplined, pre-planned biblical countermeasures target the specific pressure points of the Alinsky machine, rendering its primary weapons of isolation and fear tactically inert. Let's look at how this works against Alinsky's tactic of ridicule. The biblical counter is dignity as armor. Ridicule only works if it induces shame and provokes an angry, defensive reaction. By maintaining a steely calm and refusing to react to the bait of contempt, you starve the adversary of the emotional fuel they need to sustain the attack. We apply the same inversion to target isolation. The countermove here is radical solidarity. When a leader or a parent is targeted by a cancellation campaign, the institution must immediately activate a shield wall of visible support. You never fire someone to appease a mob. Applied biblical wisdom functions as a sophisticated, battle-tested defense system that actively shatters the primary weapons of isolation and shame. But a theoretical strategy on a whiteboard is useless without the logistical infrastructure to coordinate troops in the field. Execution requires 3 specific tools. The first is the book. It serves as the foundational diagnostic manual, teaching believers how to recognize the anatomy of an institutional attack before it succeeds. The second tool is the school community. This provides specialized, secure training enclaves where practitioners operating within specific mountains can share intelligence and refine their tactics. The third is the Shield Wall app. This operates as a real-time tactical network, providing rapid response capabilities, vetted registries, and immediate coordinated defense when a member is targeted. Together, these tools bridge the gap between abstract theology and actionable field operations. The 50-year war is already at our doorstep. Survival now requires Christians to immediately transition from a fragmented defense to a unified, coordinated reconstruction.